Hi everyone, Peter here. We got another video sponsored by Squarespace. And today I'm going back to a type of pen that I haven't used in a while, the technical pen. Now, some of you probably have heard some of my gripes with technical pens in the past. Things like they're they're just kind of finicky. They have lots of little problems, like they get dried up and you have to do a lot of little bits of maintenance on them, like cleaning them a lot. And some of them, there's a high incidence of duds, and you might get like a six pack, and three of them just don't work for whatever reason. You just hope that the nib width that you really like is one of the ones that works, or you just have to, there's these things called like special cleaning devices for them, or these what are they called, like supersonic cleaners or whatever. And anyways, there's all these things about them. There's a lot of these weird downsides to these technical pens, which is basically a metal nibbed pen with a little wire inside that gets, when you touch it to the paper, the wire gets pushed up and it releases the ink. It creates a really nice, satisfying, crisp drawing sensation when it works good, which I have enjoyed for a long time. I've enjoyed all of this. The good sides for a long time outweighed the downsides, but after a while, I just got a little bit tired of it. And so I took a pretty long break from drawing with these type of pens. Like this right here was one of my favorite pens for a long time, the Rotring Isograph. All right, Rotring Isograph. And I use repeatographs. These are like old school drafting pens. But so then I went on and I've been drawing with fountain pens for a while, which may seem a little bit hypocritical because fountain pens come with their own series of problems, having to clean them all the time and stuff. But maybe this is just something that goes with all sorts of pen problems. I don't know. Maybe I should just use a ballpoint pen. Anyways, recently, someone sent me an email, someone named, I think they just called themselves Spiraling Spiral, and they told me about something I never really realized about these pens, which is that there's actually two varieties of these technical pens that I hadn't even known about. For example, here's the Statler, one brand of these pens that I had before, the Statler Marsmatic 0.35 ISO. You see the ISO there? The part where it says ISO right there is very important because ISO, the International Standardization Organization, apparently a group of very particular people who like making sure everything is just so, they insist that to put those three letters on the pen, and you can see them on the nib of the pen here also, ISO. On the other side, it says the pen width, 0.35. I guess to put that on there, the pen has to draw a very consistent and predictable line width. But to do that, these pens have a problem, which I've always been aware of, and I got used to it, where you have to always hold the pen straight up and down when you're drawing, at least very close to straight up and down. And it's kind of a natural, because a lot of us kind of hold our pens at an angle, right? But then this person told me that that's only with like half the pens. For example, all of like the 0.35, 0.45, like all those are the ISOs, but then you can buy the 0.3 and the 0.4, which I bought now thanks to this person's suggestion. These ones, here's the 0.3. This one just says 0.3 on it and no ISO on the other side. And the thing is, these ones have just a slightly more rounded nib, which is almost imperceptible. I mean, even here you can see me comparing the 0.35 and the 0.4 under the USB microscope thing, and it's almost indiscernible. You can't really tell, but here's an image of the much thicker nibs, and you can tell there's a bit more of a difference. This is the image the Spiraling Spiral sent me. This allows you to draw with the pen at a much more natural angle, and that was just enough to get me to try the technical pens again. That was a lot of words, big intro. Pretty much that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for that email, Spiraling Spiral. So in this video, I think I'm just gonna save this 0.3. I've already put ink in this, nope, not the 0.35. That's the ISO one, the one where you can only use it straight up and down so that it draws the predictable lines. Here's the 0.4 Marsmatic non-ISO. And as you can see, I can use it here at an angle and it still draws nice lines. It used to be that you have to hold them like this all the time. But here, look at this, even at an angle. That is revolutionary to me with these technical pens. So let's hop back into it with some technical pen drawing. All right, let's start off with our sponsor Doodle. Squarespace is a great place to set up your own website, both with the design of it and the hosting. They'll get you up and running really quick. For example, if you want to share some images of something you've been working on, maybe you're an artist or a photographer, or just got pictures of anything you have, and you want to make a gallery, just drag and drop that gallery module in there. You don't have to know how to edit pictures or do web design. The pictures will automatically get resized. The thumbnails will automatically get created. So don't worry too much about it. Just start and just pick from one of the cool templates they have. They all look really smooth and professional. And then see what your website looks like with all of your personal stuff in there. So go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And then when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws for 10% off your first website or domain. Now, I got to tell you, well, first of all, I got to say today is the eve of Christmas Eve. I think that's right. Wait a second, let me look at the calendar. Christmas Eve. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve's Eve. Anyways, and what I said about the ISO, that is a weird acronym because ISO does not actually stand for the International Standardization Organization. It stands for International Organization for Standardization, which would be iOS. It's not actually an acronym. It's just its name. It just stands for it somehow. And then I looked it up and they're like, we just chose this name because we're an international organization and it would be different in every language anyways. So, we just chose it. And apparently in some document they're like, it comes from the Greek word isos, which is Greek for equal. But then someone else was like, yeah, well, at your founding meeting, when you made the organization, nobody mentioned that. So it seems like maybe they made that up afterwards and maybe they just liked ISO. Like maybe it just kind of rolled off the tongue better than iOS, right? iOS. ISO better. I agree, it sounds better. But it does, I can't be the first person who got that wrong. And why not? Why not call it International Standardization Organization? Why does it have to be Organization for Standardization? What's the big difference? Why not just make it go along with the fake acronym? Then it would be a real acronym. Anyways, in the caption, when I posted this drawing on Instagram, I made up well, to me it was funny, a caption about how this is you probably can't see it at this stage in the drawing, but how this is a big machine for burning ants. Kind of like how people, I don't know if people actually do this, but there's like, I don't know if it's a meme is the right word, but there's like this legend or story that people would take a magnifying glass and use the power of the sun to burn ants, which, I'm not a big fan of ants, but it does seem kind of cruel. I have burned things with a magnifying glass before, but usually just leaves. Dry leaves are very, very satisfying to burn with a magnifying glass. I will say I've done that quite a bit as a kid and probably not as recently as I would like. So I'm thinking I will go online and buy. Well, see, is this the curse of being an adult? That I'm afraid of like starting a fire now or something. I was not even worried about it a little bit when I was a kid, but now I'm like, wait a second. Almost every dry leaf has other dry leaves right next to it. Anyways, yeah, I'm buying one handheld magnifying glass. Yeah, perfect. It doesn't even need a big one. And it doesn't even need to be a big one. They also have those, what are those called? Fresnel lenses or something? Those are the ones with the weird ridges on them. Those ones are crazy. I've seen people do like wood burnings with those, pyrography. You just like set it up and then either move the magnifying glass or move the piece of wood under it to burn designs into the wood. That would be kind of cool to do. I wanted to do that a long time ago, but then as soon as my Fresnel lens arrived, I think I misplaced it, and then the urge passed. That happens to me a lot, that I order art supplies, but by the time they arrive, I've moved on mentally and emotionally to some other project. This time, I was mentally emotionally still there, but my supplies weren't, because they disappeared somewhere. I don't know. A Fresnel lens is pretty much just a thin piece of plastic, so it's easy to slide behind a couch or, between two books or something. I have no idea what happened to it. Maybe I'll get a magnifying glass and a Fresnel lens, and hopefully not start a forest fire. You also have to be careful with like leaving them lying around, because they could lie. I never worried about this stuff as a kid. Also, I've heard stories of people that leave like, those propagators. You could put water and grow, like a pothos plant or something. I have some of those in my house now because I like growing plants, but I don't like having dirt in my house. So that's pretty much the only way I like growing plants, is with the jars of water. And there's a few types of plants like pothos and maybe, I don't know, monstera or something. I'm not sure. There's a few types of plants that pretty much can just stay alive in just water with no dirt. I'm not sure why some plants need dirt. Is it the way the nutrients are held in the dirt or something? The plants, my pothos, they didn't really grow. They didn't really die. And recently I figured out that maybe I needed to get some of that liquid plant food. Put a few drops in there. It hasn't really seemed to make a difference yet. I can't tell if I put way too much in there, because the amount they tell you to add is for like a pint. That's how they tell you to measure it out, like this many drops for a pint. But I have these pothos growing in tiny vials. Anyways, these glass vials, some of them look like a science vial. Some of them look like a little glass bulb. And I've heard stories of people that had those by their windows, and then like the glass bulb focuses the light and catches their curtains or their couch on fire or something. But I don't really have mine directly by the window anyways, because someone told me that I was giving my plants too much direct light. You can just never win with plants, it seems like. I got the lowest, look, I've tried. I got the lowest maintenance plants. You don't even have to water them because they live in water. And still, it's like, whenever someone comes over, they're like, oh, it's too close to the window, it's too far away from the window. There's always something that I'm doing wrong. But I will say, they're still alive. They all have 3 leaves each. Inevitably. Sometimes a leaf dies, but one other leaf replaces it. They're just all 3 leafers. So that's fine with me. It's all good. And recently one of my friends at school gave me some other propagations. We'll see how those go. I gave them a little bit of liquid plant food too. And I don't know, I need to check on them, see if any little adorable roots have started to sprout out from the stems. I think, I don't know, you can probably add too much liquid plant food. I hope I didn't do that, because I feel like it was saying like 3 drops per liter or something, and I was using a little syringe to feed them, and I was just kind of like squirting a tiny bit in there, and it could have been too much. I don't want them to get like overfed, but who knows? Anyways, the plants are fine. There's always more at the plant store if these ones die. There's an adorable plant store near me called the Tiny Greenhouse. That place is very cute. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's like one of those stores where you can find like little presents for people almost always, or for yourself. And they have a great selection. This is a good thing to have near you if you ever need stickers, like a well curated selection of stickers. And I asked the guy, I was like, where'd you get all these great stickers? Because they're not about anything in particular, not like all about plants. They're like all like quirky little stickers you wish you had sometimes when you wanted to put a sticker on something. But he's like, oh yeah, my wife, he's like, she's got her sources. So it's pretty cool. I don't know why, but they have like a wall of stickers and it's always stuck in my mind. Pun not intended, but anyways, I'll let you guys know how it goes with the magnifying glasses. And if you hear about anyone's house burning down because of a magnifying glass in the news, it was probably me. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.